funny thing about justice. It's always looking for a face, a way to pin a name to a crime. Before DNA, before the labs and the white coats, the world thought it found the answer in measurements. Bertillonage, they called it. 14 ways to size up a man. His head, his arms, his ears, the length of his damn foot. Alphonse Bertillon built an empire on those numbers. Sickly kid, sour disposition, but sharp as a razor. He believed you could measure the truth the way you measure a coffin. And for a while, the world believed him. Europe, America, South America, they all lined up behind his anthropometric gospel. But numbers lie. Or maybe it's the men who read them. I've seen phrenologists run their fingers over a skull like fortune tellers reading tea leaves. They said bumps and ridges could reveal a criminal soul. Hell, they used that nonsense on Leopold and Loeb in 24. Same kind of thinking the Nazis twisted into their own brand of poison, judging guilt by the shape of a nose. Bertillon wasn't a monster, just a man who believed too hard in his own reflection. He measured criminals like livestock, photographed them the same way every time. Profile, full face, fixed distance. He built a library of bodies, but he couldn't see the cracks in his own system. Then fingerprinting came along, a quiet revolution. Started in India with Herschel, a civil servant who got tired of workers collecting pay under false names. He had them sign with their palms and fingers. Simple, elegant, foolproof. Henry Faulds picked up the torch, shouting to Scotland Yard that fingerprints left at a crime scene could speak louder than any witness. They ignored him. They always ignore the prophets. Francis Galton, Darwin's cousin, put numbers behind the ridges and whorls. Said the odds of 2 prints matching were 50 billion to 1. Edward Henry turned that theory into a system, a way to sort the chaos. And then there was Juan Vucetich, the forgotten one. Croatian-born, Argentine by choice, stubborn as a mule. He built his own 10-finger system, dactyloscopia, and proved its worth the hard way. Necochea, 1892. 2 children murdered. A mother pointing the finger at a jealous lover. The cops beat a confession out of him. Standard procedure for men who prefer shortcuts to truth. But Vucetich found a bloody thumbprint on the door, matched it to the mother. She confessed. Fingerprinting saved an innocent man. But heroes don't always get statues. When Argentina tried to fingerprint every citizen, the streets erupted. Riots, broken windows. Fear dressed up as freedom. Vucetich became the scapegoat, exiled from the city he served. He died, thinking the world had forgotten him. Meanwhile, Bertillon, the old master, watched his empire crumble. Countries abandoned his measurements for fingerprints. He grew bitter, cold, half-blind, clinging to the past like a drowning man to driftwood. When France offered him the Rosette of Honor, they asked for one thing in return. Admit he was wrong about Dreyfus. He refused. He died without the Rosette, without the glory, without the future he tried to build. But the truth marched on. Fingerprinting crossed the ocean. Joseph Foreau brought it to New York after seeing it in St. Louis. Solved murders with it. Identified criminals the old systems missed. By 1911, the NYPD made it their cornerstone. Hoover built the biggest fingerprint library in the world. And fingerprints didn't just convict, they saved men too. Take Payne Boyd. Wrong face, wrong scars, wrong place at the wrong time. Witnesses swore he was Cleveland Boyd, a killer who shot a squire dead in West Virginia. 3 trials, dozens of witnesses, a life sentence hanging over his head. Then a fingerprint man, Garfield Rose, stepped in. Matched Payne's prints to his army records. Proved he couldn't have been the killer. 1 print, 1 truth, and the man walked free after a year and a half in a cage. That's the thing about science. It's only as good as the hands that use it. Bertillon measured men, but he couldn't measure himself. Vucetich found truth in a bloody thumbprint, but the world turned its back on him. Me? I've learned to trust the evidence, but never the men who swear it's infallible. Because in this line of work, the only thing more dangerous than a criminal is a certainty that's wrong.